sort of as we were hanging out, I was like, this one's doing good. And she's like, it could happen any day now. And then it did. And like the craziest part, I think, was the flight back. I took off with like 20,000 followers and landed with 30. And I was like, oh. And it honestly felt like a pillar just like underneath me, just like lifting me up and being like, oh my God, whoa, what the and like I just remember like when I got home and I was just laying in bed and I was like, it was something that I've been trying to get for so long, and when it did happen, my first thought was, I can't undo this.
Welcome back, friends. Today I drove to St. Paul, Minnesota to sit with the best rapper in the United States. He was born from a volcano. Welcome to the show, Michael Ribbons, aka Scoochie Boochie.
What's up? Thanks for having me.
Dude, does anyone call you Michael Ribbons or no?
Yeah, I guess my family and friends, I suppose.
It took me a minute to just find that name in general online, like Googling, what's Scoochie Boochie's name?
We were just doing that on the way up here. We're Googling, like, it doesn't know my height or where I'm from. Like, I can live with that. I'm okay with the internet.
What does the net worth say?
I never checked that. That would be funny. That would be really funny to find what it thinks.
I saw that like it started to auto-populate that, and I'm like, well, I know he didn't quit his job till recently, so I don't think his net worth has gone crazy yet.
I'm not even really sure, to be honest.
Okay, so in your own words, who are you and what are you passionate about?
Oh man, I'm a funny rapper. It's hard. I was just telling somebody when someone asks, I usually explain it by artists that are kind of similar, but based on the person who's asking's age range. So if they're 40 and up, I'm like, it's kind of like Weird Al, which it's not, but he's a funny musician that they've heard of.
Yeah.
If they're a millennial, I say Lonely Island, which is pretty close. I describe it as Lonely Island plus lore. It's like Lonely Island with like a whole story component. And if they're Gen Z, I say like Bo Burnham or Lil Dicky kind of thing. But yeah, it's funny rap, and I do these concept albums where I always say my biggest influence in rap is the Magic Treehouse books, you know, like the Dolphins at Dawn and
yeah.
So it's like I did like an underwater one called The Lost City of Atlantis. I got a space album called Sunrise at Dawn in Space, and I got a fantasy album called Dad Quest. And so each one has kind of a theme, and then there's a bunch of skits within that tell a whole narrative that connects all the songs.
Captain's log. Day 103. Damage to vape lounge. Irreparable.
Are you gonna do like a visual for Dad Quest and the other one? Because at Lost City of Atlantis, you have like a live show performance kind of version, which I watched, which was tight.
Oh, thanks.
The other ones don't have that yet, right?
Yeah, that one was just born out of the album dropped right like early pandemic, and I just wanted to do it, to feel what it did, because to do it kind of live, even though obviously I couldn't. So the other one is just like, well, no, I'll just do live shows instead. But yeah, responses to that one have been really positive, which is cool. So yeah, I might have to knock out a couple of the other ones. Because each album is a whole big chunk of stuff.
Yeah, and now you're a full-time musician.
Absolutely.
Which is pretty recent.
Yeah. As this past fall, I was still giving architecture tours in Chicago. That's been my main job the last 4 years. But pretty much as of like this winter, it's the first time it's like, yeah, I think this is my job now, which is the dream was always, broadly speaking, just have like making what I like making be my job. And so I'm living the dream, man. It's crazy.
Yeah, you never expected that to come from something you made forever ago.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it hit. So we'll get into that in a little bit. But I heard that Scoochie Boochie was just something you used to say. Do you remember the first time you ever said Scoochie Boochie and where that came from?
It would have been like sophomore, junior year of college, like 2014, 15. I just would go Scoochie Booch. And like, it's kind of a Midwest phrase of, Scooch or Booch or whatever.
Oh, okay.
Like scoot over. But I don't know if that was exactly it. But I would just say it. And then the only distinct memory I have is there's like a Facebook message thread about a Halloween party. Like, what are you going as? I said, I'm going as Scoochie Boochie. And they were like, what's that? And I was like, I don't know. And then I Googled it to make sure it wasn't taken. And the internet was like, did you mean Snoochie Boochies from Jay and Silent Bob? And I was like, no, I did not. It's Scoochie Boochie. And now it's what I put on my taxes.
Wow, dude. Who owns the Scoochie Boochie handle without the underscore?
Great question. I don't know.
Have you tried to get it?
I'm sure that's what I searched first, and it said taken. I said okay, and I put the underscore in there. So I don't know. I'd circle back, be like, hey, bud.
Dude, I had to buy mine.
Did you?
Yeah, because mine had an underscore, and I had to try to find who had it, and it was some guy in India that I had to pay off to get my handle. But it was like $150 or something. It was like a manageable amount when I'm like, well, this is going to be my full career. I think I can spend $150 maybe. So I know that you started rapping with like an app where I forget what it was called. Rap Chats, right?
Yeah.
So, but what I want to know is what's the first rap line you wrote that at the time anyways, you thought like, that was clever?
I think the first song I really wrote was I Like Butts off my mixtape, Butter Money. And I said, I was talking about a library. I said, gotta check it out, Booty Decimal System.
Can't believe that non-fiction, gotta look it up, Booty Decimal System.
And that lit up a part of my brain that had never lit up before. And I was like, I like this.
Dude, that's incredible. How long was it between because I know that you did improv and stuff too,
Yeah.
but like, what was the first time you performed rap? Was it before you got into the improv thing, or when did it happen?
Yeah, so I'd been doing a lot of improv in college, and then my first year after college, I stayed in my college town in Grand Rapids, Michigan, and I would be an alternate sometimes for a great improv team there called Pop Scholars. And then they're like, we're going to do the show at a Long Road Distillers. And they're like, it's going to be, normally our stuff's kind of PG, but like this is going to be like our hard R show. And they're like, you should do, as in R-rated.
Yeah, I was like, wow, dude.
R-rated show. And they're like, you should do those raps you do, because I had like one mixtape out. And I was like, sure. Yeah, so then I was like, I did like a little bit of stand-up, and then in the middle of the stand-up routine, I was like, okay, well, this is going to be weird for you guys, but I also rap, so here it goes. And then I did, like, I have a lot of money.
I have a bunch of money, like a lot of the rappers that you're familiar with.
I like butts.
Shake that ass like a protein shake.
I smoke weed.
I smoke weed as though contractually obligated.
My first few songs were all just like rap trope taken to the furthest hyperbole. That's how I started off writing them. And then, yeah, that was like, maybe a 15-minute set or whatever. But then like the first like hour show I did like that was also just in the upstairs of that distillery. And then I did one at Logan Square Improv in Chicago. And that one I distinctly remember being like, dude, I'm so out of breath in between songs. I don't know how to like vamp. So if only there was some sort of pre-recorded thing I could play in there. And that's why I started making the skits for my like Underwater album. But then I got too into the story with the skits, and all the skits are like a minute and a half long. And that's way too long to just sit there on stage while that's playing. So now they're just part of the album, and they don't serve that purpose at all.
Dude, but if you started incorporating more costume changes, that could be the perfect thing for that time. I hate when people are gimmicky, but gimmicks work, and that band Ice Nine Kills crushes it live because of that.
Oh,
Are you
yeah?
familiar with that?
I'm not, yeah.
They're a metal band that each song is based on a horror movie.
Oh, cool.
And so, like, for each song, all of a sudden, like, he's like American Psycho puts on his lab coat with an axe, and it's a whole thing they like incorporate in. But like, you play a character Scoochie Boochie, but even within the character Scoochie Boochie, and you play other ones. You got the Waldo song.
Yeah.
Blood on my hands, that's why the sweater is red.
You got the Prospector song.
All I think about is gold, all I eat is beans, yeah.
I mean, there's a good number of them. I feel like there's a way you could incorporate it into it. And then if you had the captures, like those live showed captured, which I know you do sometimes, now all of a sudden you got a whole bunch of different to work for social media too.
Yeah, that's true.
Maybe I'm just like giving you some.
No, there's that
ideas.
thing, especially like when you see like on the radar radio clips where it's like
Yeah.
someone's wearing something insane, and it makes you stop to
Yeah.
scroll for a second and be like, what is this?
Well, yeah, I mean, that's part of your whole thing, right? With the I Have Sex video of like, you look a little silly,
Yeah.
and that's part of it. Like
Yeah.
when you, based on what the lyrics are and everything, you with the mustache, with the like little goofy cat, whatever that
Yeah.
thing is, like without listening to you right away, you're like, what?
Yeah.
And you see what this is. Same way with the Carbutt one. But I want to know, let's go a little early. When and why did you move to Chicago?
For improv specifically, my college improv team, we would do like a yearly retreat, and we'd go up and we'd see shows at like IO and stuff. So I kind of knew it was there. And then, yeah, I did like finished up my sort of like video production like internship in Grand Rapids, and I was like, yeah, let's just go there. And so I moved there with two of my college improv buddies, one of whom has filmed a lot of my music videos, including like Jesus on the Beach and Hat.
I like a girl with a big old hat.
And stuff. And the other one made the beat for I Have Sex. So they're very much like my starter Pokemon moving there.
Never heard it that way.
Yeah. And so I did like all the improv classes at IO and stuff. And like I was on an indie team. I was very much in that scene. And I kind of had the rap on the side. I would occasionally pop up and do that. And then the pandemic stopped all the improv. And I was like, okay, rap it is. And I also started to feel like if I want comedy to be my job, like improv doesn't really lead there. And one of my roommates was like an actor who's been in commercials and stuff. And he's like, you want me to just like tell you what that's like? And he sat me down and I took a bunch of notes and he told me all this stuff. And at the end of it, I was like, oh yeah, I don't want to do that. The only part of this I like is creating and performing, like, and writing and stuff. And then, yeah, so like the one you mentioned, I Have Sex, that was just during COVID lockdown. I was back with my parents in Virginia, and I was just in the like woods behind their house with the tripod, just going nuts. And yeah, like you said, that's at, it was at like 5,000 views on YouTube for like 5 years. And then in 2025, when my song Carbutt blew up, I was like, okay, let's repost everything. And then I Have Sex like super blew up, which is really rare, I think, for a video to get like a second life like that. So I feel really lucky.
You didn't repost it to YouTube, right? The video itself was up and you just started posting
Chopping
the
it
clips.
into reels.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I thought when I was scrolling back, you even posted the same reels multiple times, right?
Totally.
At the time, because now you can't really do that. Like the algorithm will shut it down if you post stuff that's like not fresh content.
Yeah, I feel like it's a weird thing. I used to be more precious about that, where I'm like, yeah, but I already posted this one. But then like I'll post something from 2019, and they'll be like, this new one's pretty good, and I'm like, you guys just missed it. You know what I mean? So it's like.
Sure.
It's always new to somebody. The internet is a fast-moving river, and I'm just chucking rocks in it. You know.
Sure. When you moved to Chicago, were you thinking like, oh, I want to try to get into comedy for a career at the time, or was it just like,
Yeah.
I want to? Oh, okay. Because
Yeah,
improv isn't something you make money on. And you
Yeah.
would have known that even going into it, didn't you?
Yeah, I think the ideal like pipeline, I was like, maybe I'll be like a Danny Pudi from Community or whatever, where it's like I was good at that, so then I got cast in things, or like SNL obviously is the dream, or like something like that. And so I thought like, yeah, it goes from improv to actor, and then you're just in funny stuff, and maybe you write also. But then I quickly realized that it's like, yeah, the timing of it was nice. Like I made like a house team at IO after doing all the classes, and I had just enough time to be kind of disillusioned with the whole thing before the pandemic hit. Like if the pandemic hit when I was still in classes, I would have been like, oh man, I was about to whatever. But like you eventually find that like not only do they not, like I thought if you just show up and be funny, then someone will come find you, but that's not the case. They don't even really promote their shows. Like you have to like bring people to your shows also. So like you just kind of like lose steam with it, even though it is an art form that I really love, and that's where I made all my friends and met a lot of really cool people. It's kind of like college, where like the curriculum is kind of like take it or leave it, but it's the people you meet ultimately that makes it worth it for me.
When was the first time you made any money from your music? Because when you blew up, you had already been performing and stuff, right? It just like hadn't really gone far yet.
Yeah, I wasn't really getting paid to perform that much. It was a lot of like popping up in my friends' variety shows. It'd be like sketch and stand up, and then I would do 3 songs. So you're not getting paid for those. But I was making a tiny bit off of like Bandcamp. God bless whoever was buying that. I like a little bit from Spotify or whatever. But yeah, really just when I blew up in January of 2025, then it started to come in a little bit more, and then I was like, oh, I need merch. And now I'm like, oh, merch is so important. It's like a lot of nights, like on tour, it's like a bigger check than just the tickets are. So it's like, and I'm fortunate that I have fans that are kind of like that. Like if you have nerdier type fans, and I say that with love because I'm a nerd also, they want a piece of the thing. They want to be a part of it or whatever.
Yeah.
So like the koozies and the stickers and the hats and stuff are a really important part of it.
I think in general, it's a big thing with live music because everyone can just watch your stuff online anyways.
Right.
So they're looking to get some kind of an experience and then have a memory from it. And people are kind of broke, so they don't go to that many shows. So they want to have something to remember. Like I did this thing once upon a time.
That's something we've heard at several of these stops. Is like, this is the only concert I went to this year, or this is the only concert I've ever been to.
Wow.
I bring them crawling out of the hills, dude. I don't know. It's awesome. I love it.
Yeah. Are you selling captain's hats?
We're selling sailor hats,
Hell
bucket
yeah.
hats, ball caps. Yeah, all sorts of stuff.
Where'd you get your first sailor cap? And do you wear it for like every single show?
Yeah, so the first one, it's funny. So I already had fully had this nautical concept album that I'd fully made and performed.
Atlantis.
And then my roommate, the actor, Andy Junk, shout out, he just had a sailor hat. And I was like, why do you have this? And he's like, oh, I have an inflatable kayak, and when I go paddle on the Chicago River, I like to wear it for fun, because he's a fun kind of guy. And I was like, can I wear that at a show? And then it just became kind of like my signature thing, and now I have like a custom one that somebody made and stuff.
Oh, is that the coolest thing you've ever gotten from a fan?
Well, that one I commissioned. I was like, make me a good hat,
okay.
because I'm gonna perform it. But people give me all sorts of stuff, man, or at least like stuff I've signed. Like I signed like a wooden steering wheel from a ship in Boston. And I was like, where'd you get this? And they're like, it's a nautical community. I got a Facebook marketplace.
Damn,
or just today I signed someone's like, it's like a mouse pad, but it has like big boobies. It's like a hot doctor with boobs. I was like, all right, yep, signing that. People bring me all sorts of stuff.
Dude, that's like, walk me through the day that things did blow up, because it hit, and then it hit, and then it hit, and then it hit, and then it hit. You know, you gained that momentum. But I know it was the Carbutt song, but like, what was it? Was it a reel that you posted? Was it like, what happened that day?
It was like, so if it's like a 3-minute music video, I'm chopping it up into like 30-ish second reels kind of thing. And I think it was the first one of those on Carbutt.
I drive around on my butt like a car.
And I looked at my phone. I was like, whoa. And I was actually in LA. I filmed a couple of my podcasts, a couple episodes of Holy Smokes with some friends. I forget what I was out there. It was mainly that, and just to like not be in Chicago in January. And I was just out there. And the friend I was talking to, Caroline Eastham, she was one of my improv teammates. She's like huge on TikTok and stuff. And she was like, I was talking to her about that. And then sort of as we were hanging out, I was like, this one's doing good. And she's like, it could happen any day now. And then it did. And like the craziest part, I think, was the flight back. I took off with like 20,000 followers and landed with 30. And I was like, oh. And it honestly felt like a pillar just like underneath me, just like lifting me up and being like, oh my God, whoa, what the And like, I just remember like when I got home and I was just laying in bed and I was like, it was something that I've been trying to get for so long. And when it did happen, my first thought was, I can't undo this. Like, I can't make people not know about me if they know about me now. And it's like, it is what I wanted, but I'm like, oh yeah, you can't go back. You can't be like, just kidding, you guys don't know about me now.
Sure.
Which is a weird feeling. But like, also looking at people that I consider like comedy legends and having more followers than them, admittedly on that one platform, you know. But it's just like, what the dude? It's still very strange.
Dude, it is. Well, no, I mean, it is weird. Like, not to say I'm on your level with anything, but I just interviewed Leroy Butler from the Packers, right? He's in the NFL Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Like, if you watch football, you know who this person is. He invented the Lambeau Leap. He's a legend in Wisconsin, still lives in Wisconsin. Yeah. But I have more Instagram followers than him. Yeah. And I'm like nobody. And I'm like, and he's like,
yeah.
You know, so
I had that feeling too. I'm like, this ain't right. Like Rory Scovel is 5,000 times funnier and more talented than me. Like, get it with it, people. Go follow him. What are we doing?
Dude, for real. Do you remember the first time you smoked weed?
I do. Yeah. I was a junior in college. I grew up very sheltered, so all my partying and stuff began quite late. And my homie was like, he had like a little bubbler or whatever. We went out on his like enclosed porch, and I definitely didn't inhale properly. I was kind of more like just like puffing it because I didn't know how to smoke anything. I hadn't smoked anything at all. And then he made a big pancake. He's like, "This is a hack, dude. You just use all the batter in one go, and you make a big pancake." Which it's not a hack. You just burn both sides. It is gooey in the middle, but he split the big pancake. And then we watched Rick and Morty for the first time. Like the first season, it just dropped, and I was like, "This is sick." And we were like an hour into it, and I was like, "So when does it kick in?" And he was like, "Immediately. Are you not?" And I was like, "No, I feel nothing."
Oh god.
And I felt nothing the first like 5 times because I just didn't know what I was doing.
Dude, that's funny. Yeah, I didn't smoke weed for the first time till I was like 30.
There you go.
But that's because I got divorced at 30.
Okay.
And when I was with my ex-wife for 15 years, and I have 2 kids, and it was like all of a sudden I have my kids half the time, right? Yeah. So all of a sudden every other week I was like, I'm just an adult,
just a guy.
Yeah, and I can just do anything. So I was saying yes to a lot of things that now I'm like, I don't know if I should have said yes to that, but whatever. So you also grew up super duper religious.
True.
Do you still believe in God, or
no? I guess you'd probably say I'm agnostic or whatever. Like I think there's some folks that are nice that are religious, and so like I don't hold it against anybody who is, but it's not really my jam. I stopped going to church in college. But yeah.
So when did you realize that the Bible was just a better fantasy novel than anything?
That is kind of my approach to it. I mean, holy smokes, we are for sure making fun of the Bible, but I also just am a fan of it from a lore perspective now. Like the way the people are fans of Lord of the Rings. I'm like, there's a lot of crazy stuff in here. So that's kind of a gradual process. I mean, like even as a kid, I remember like just think like there's just verses that jump out to you as funny even when you're still on board with it. Like there's a part where like there's like a poison stew and people are yelling, "There's death in the pot," which was just like a running joke we had about when someone takes a bad dump. You know, like, "Oh, there's death in the pot." So like there was always kind of that, and I was like Veggie Tales. There's versions of it where people are kind of in having fun with the stories or whatever. So I feel like that's always kind of been in my brain, is like to take things that are irreverent and take an irreverent approach. But then like, yeah, just sort of gradually college and beyond, once it wasn't my thing, it still shaped a lot of like what I know about him, my cultural references and stuff. And that's kind of part of the reason I started Holy Smokes, is because I'd be talking to people and like at a party and I'd be like, "Oh yeah, it's totally like Job." And they'll be like, "What?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, I guess people don't." And so it's like, it's fun to just sort of throw it in front of people that didn't grow up with it and be like, pick a story. And they're like, "This is crazy. I don't know about this." I'm like, "Uh-huh." So it's like fun to like, as from just like a fan base kind of perspective. But then it's also fun to talk to people that did grow up with that and just being able to just talk about it in an open kind of just like way with no attachment of trying to make it mean something, of just being like, let's just honestly react to this.
Yeah, I mean, my views on the Bible is just stories to like help you live a solid life. I grew up Christian as well. I went to a Catholic elementary school through like 6th grade or whatever, but that's still young enough where we didn't deep dive, and I never read the Bible fully through. I just knew there was like crazy stuff in Revelations, and I was like, I should read this at some point, and I've never made the effort, but I need to. Who are the 3 most badass characters in the Bible?
Oh man,
I'm calling them characters. They were real people supposedly, but
I mean, easy Samson. He's got a lot of legendary. He ripped a lion apart with his hands. He killed 400 Philistines with an ox goad, which is like a sharp stick. He was basically the Incredible Hulk of the Bible. So I think that's a clear number 1. In a weird way, Job, I think I would argue, because he was basically God and the devil do like a bet where the devil's like, "So Job's your favorite guy, right? He'll never like abandon you." And God's like, "For sure." And he's like, "Okay, what if you let me f with him to the max?" And God's like, "Go for it." And so then he ruins Job's life. Like all 12 of his kids die. He loses everything. And Job still doesn't like curse God. And it's like, "I'm dead." So basically he's just like a suffering G, I guess. He's just like endures the most if it hangs in there. So I think he's up there. Let's see, most badass. Let's see. It's funny the one-off bad they'll throw at you in the Bible, like almost like footnotes. They'll be like, "Oh yeah, and what's his face slew 600 Philistines with the jawbone of a donkey." He just found a bone and was like, "This will work," and then just like went boomerang style on like several hundred dudes, and he gets one verse. I'm like, "Tell me more about that guy. That guy's an Avenger." So I'd throw him in there, whatever his name is.
Okay, well, we're gonna have to figure out what that guy's name is. Okay, let's go back to the Carbutt thing. Mm-hmm. Did you know how to edit with green screen and stuff at the time, or did you just like, I'm going to YouTube University figure this out?
A little bit. So I've edited all my music videos. I employ shooters because I'm not good at the camera side of things, but I majored in media production, so I've been editing for a while. And really, since I blew up, I felt more like a video editor than a rapper because I'm just constantly cranking out reels and stuff. Yeah. But yeah, green screen, I had done a little bit with my my song "I Take a Dump in the Rain" off my Space album.
I take a dump in the rain. I take a dump in the rain.
It's so funny to say these with a straight face, like, of course, and then that one. But that was kind of the first. But I just shot that actually. My buddy Chris Stritzis, who's a Chicago comedian, who's really great. He edited that one, so I didn't do any of the editing on that one. So I think Carbutt and Rich Baby, yeah, were the first two of like mine that I really just edited with and stuff. So yeah, I just have like green screen paper up in my basement. We have like a little storage area, and I'm just going nuts in front of there, and then just throwing it together.
Found the jacket and the pants in separate parts of the same thrift store.
Without having to like explain to me for an hour how it works, like I understand what a green screen is, obviously, sure. But like in editing, is it pretty easy? Is there just like a setting you put in Premiere where you're like, this color needs to be?
Yeah, so it's called Ultra Key, and you just say anything that's this color is gone now, and so that's why I usually do bright green, because there's not going to be much bright green naturally appearing in the frame, so it'll just eliminate anything that's that and just leave the rest just floating in space or whatever. The hardest part was any sort of motion or animation, like the part where I'm like little versions of me are flying by like Rainbow Road.
Mario Kart, no cart.
Took forever and still looked because I'm not good at like mobile like animations. That part's really hard because I don't really work with After Effects like that. I just try to do it all in Premiere, which is probably the hard way to do it, but I'm like, let's just get it done. It's ultimately about butts, like who cares?
Yeah, well, yeah, fair enough. So what was it like when Justin Bieber shared your Did you just like screenshot it, tell the world immediately? And
yeah, pretty
what did
much.
You share?
Yeah, so the I Have Sex, the one that did the biggest, I think SZA and Justin Bieber put it in their stories. And yeah, so I just screenshot it and like highlighted their name and was like, holy basically, just posted that. But yeah, that I still have people come up to me at shows and be like, yeah, I found you when Bieber posted you or whatever.
Really?
So, yeah. It's, I mean, yeah, when you got that many followers, that'll do it. You know,
I guess so. I don't recall how I came across you. It just was like recommended content at some point or whatever. Yeah. How soon, I guess, after the Carbutt one, and then you, I guess, was it intentional immediately when that first one hit that you're like, I'm just going to repost this for a week? Because it seems like that's kind of what happened with the Carbutt one, right?
Yeah, I sliced it up preemptively into 30-second chunks because it's like, if it's shorter, it has a better chance of getting watched. So it's like, you know, first hook and part of the first verse is the first clip, and the second clip's like this. But Carbutt is nice because you really want to tell them the premise immediately of what the song is. So I'd even rearrange the order of the song just to have it always start with I drive around on my butt like a car. Just so they always starts like that, and then it might jump ahead to the second verse or to something near the end. Just be like, here's what it is, and here's another part of it. Here's what it is, here's another part of it. Yeah, so that was kind of the strat there.
So how long was it between that first one blowing up and then the Justin Bieber sharing it?
So yeah, so Carbutt blew up, and that was like a week of those, and then I can't remember how long after that, but I was already working on Rich Baby, which was the next one that I dropped that also blew up. So that was like within a couple weeks of that, and then that was like another like 5 of those that all did well, and then I don't know, I'd have to just go look at my Instagram, but that was one of the next things that I posted, because when I would do these like variety shows, I Have Sex was one I always kind of relied on because it's a little slower and has a lot of punchlines. So if you're in front of a seated comedy audience, you want to think in those terms. You don't want to try to get them like hype or do something that's like really fast because they're just sitting there and it's weird. But I Have Sex is a little slower and it kind of welcomes in punchlines. So it's like that's one I'd done a lot. I was like felt like it was maybe one of my better ones, but I'd never seen it do anything like that. So that was nuts.
Yeah, dude. So
and even that, it was like clip number 4 out of 5 within I Have Sex is the one that got like 20 million views or whatever. So it's just like it's really hard to predict. So I just throw a lot of darts at the board. You know?
Yeah, well, I mean that's all social media, right? Like I have a clip that hit. It's like 3.5 million on Facebook, and it did over 1 million on Instagram too, and I was like, sick.
Yeah.
And then I think it did over 1 million on TikTok too, but on YouTube it did like 1,000 or something, like the same clip, and I'm like, this is a proven good
and
clip.
That's what I would say to artists is like, don't don't allow yourself to feel too good about a good number or too bad about a bad number, because a lot of this shit that I made was fully unnoticed and had very not impressive numbers next to them for a long time, and that is independent of their value to be enjoyed by people, because I thought I Have Sex was just as good then as I do now, but just now a lot more people know about it. Like, this is what I would say to like other artists is like, it's an encouraging thing where it's like, if you did a graph of like how good I was at my thing over time, it'd be like this. I'd be like, yeah, I got better at it. But the graph of people that know about me was like nothing. You know, and you just never know when like that's going to happen. And in retrospect, I'm grateful for the timing, because I was like, oh, you guys are here? Great. Here's 5 albums I've already made and videos for them ready to go. Because a friend of mine said this to me when I was in Philly. He's like, he's the guy who made the beat for I Have Sex. And, you know, he was just like the nearest buddy that made beats. And I was like, dude, a song of ours has 1 million plays. He's like, you just kept going longer than a reasonable person would have. Most people after 2 or 3 comedy rap concept albums would be like, all right, we'll probably switch it out. And I was just like, nope, I think it's good. I just kept doing it. And I was kind of reaching the point of like, maybe this is just a hobby, because like it keeps me going and I love it, but it doesn't seem to be going anywhere. And I was like, I turned 30 and I was like, ooh, it's kind of old for a rapper. And then it finally just like, whoosh, and I was like, oh, okay, great, I'm ready.
No, I mean, it is way better that it happened later. Like my buddy Baby Jake, it was like his first song almost was that Cigarettes on Patios song that just like went nuts, and they got signed by Republic and all this stuff like happened to him too young. He was only like 18, 19 years old, and he didn't even have an album out at the time. And it was just like got all this fame really quick, didn't really know what to do with it, made a bunch of mistakes. Now he's like turning 30 almost, and he's like, oh, okay. Kind of reevaluating things. Not that he's done or anything, but it's like he hit a peak so fast he couldn't capitalize on it. When I asked him about it, I was like, what happened when you started changing your sound? Did you lose a bunch of people? Were people mad? And he's like, I don't think anyone cared yet. He was like, I was such a flash in the pan that I didn't bring them in, you know? But because if you see something, same way with my show, I've talked to my girlfriend about this quite a few times, of like me having something hit, like some clip go or whatever, isn't that helpful earlier? Because people will want to go see more from me, and there's nothing else in relation. You know what I mean? Like I did some Ink Master interviews, like people at that. And the reason they work so well is because I had already interviewed other people from reality shows and other people from that same show. Yeah. So then they're like, oh, now I'm more likely to follow because I like this thing and this thing and this thing from you. Yeah. But if you don't have that, then it doesn't really work.
And totally, and just being prepared to make the next thing. Like I had the freedom to make a bunch of mistakes in the dark when no one was watching. Like I tried this, that didn't really work. Tried this, that kind of worked. So that now that they are here, I don't have any of that panic or writer's block, because I'm like, I have my formula down. I know kind of how I work. I've already progressed, and I'm also not that worried about what people think, because y'all weren't here before. Like you guys where were y'all when I was making all this beforehand? It's always been it's 11. I used to be not have an audience, and that was kind of freeing, and now I'm like ahead of my audience, which is also freeing. Where like I'm 10 songs ahead of what you guys are hearing right now, because I just kept plugging away, kind of.
Dude, I mean, you have more music out right now than a lot of people put out in their entire careers. Like, just being honest, there's a lot of people that put out so little music, especially now, because so few people do albums. They just do a song once every 3 months or however long, and that doesn't compile to be that many.
Or just post one song over and over.
Wow, yeah. I mean, a lot of people do that, too.
When I get a comment that's just like, I already seen this one, it's like, yeah, but at least I post like a bunch of songs. Some people literally just post their one song, just doing the same dance to the same song over and over, and I'm just like, all right. Cool.
Yeah. So when did you grow a mustache for the first time?
COVID lockdown. Like a lot of people started experimenting, especially the fellas, with just various hair things. I tried that, and I tried a mullet, but my hair is so straight that it was just gross, dude. It just went straight down to my shoulders, and like it. You know how like mathematically at some point you expect a wave, just nothing. Just it looked like mechanical pencil lead, just like straight down. And my mom, bless her heart, was giving me a haircut one time, and she let out an involuntary and I was like, just cut it off. I didn't have to do it. So the mullet was not a keeper, but the stash did stay. I like it as sort of a third eyebrow with which to make facial expressions.
Oh God, I've never thought about it that way. Do you remember the first time that you showed your mom your music?
Yeah. Well, so that show I mentioned at the Bourbon on Division, where I opened for that improv team, they asked for a bio for like the Facebook event, and I said Scoochie, Michael Rivers does comedy, yada yada. He also raps as Scoochie Boochie, but don't tell his parents. And my mom followed that improv team and saw that and was like, "What's this about?" And so then it was like a whole conversation, whatever. But yeah, my parents are great. I love them very much. They're really sweet people, but I asked for this attention, they didn't, so I'll just leave them out of this. But they're sweet, and I love them very much.
Dude, that's funny. So I heard you really ball for real.
I played. I was the starting point guard for my tiny Christian school in the hills of Virginia. I come from a basketball family. My brother played D3 at Messiah College. He scored 2,000 points in high school. My sister scored 1,000 points in high school. Actually, the first time I ever went viral was a Reddit post where my brother's holding his 2,000 point plaque. My sister's holding her 1,000 point plaque, and I'm holding a tiny vase with a wilting rose coming out of it. I got a lot of assists, But yeah, I was just like a system point guard. But honestly, because my school was so small, I got a lot more minutes than I would have at like a real big school or whatever. Yeah. So like, I have some skill, but I zero burst.
So did you become like a Bulls fan after moving to Chicago, or are you a fan of? Because Virginia doesn't have.
Virginia Tech sports was all that mattered growing up because like I grew up 5 minutes from campus or whatever. So Tech's my main thing, but especially actually starting in COVID, I was like, I'm a Wizards fan. Go Wizards, man. Why not? It was like the Russell Westbrook year during like COVID and stuff, and ever since I'm like, yeah, if somebody's got to be a Wizards fan, I'll do it. I'll take one for the team.
Who are the 3 greatest Wizards ever?
Gotta be Wes Unseld, Gilbert Arenas. I'm definitely blanking on like an important 70s guy when they won it. Did they have Moses Malone? I'm gonna get eaten alive for this. I don't know.
Dude, I really thought you were going to say Gandalf. I feel like he belongs in the top Wizards.
Huge missed opportunity that they don't lean into that. All their jerseys and stuff are just red, white, and blue. Boo, boring. Do some actual D&D Ren Fair. There's a whole untapped audience that buys hella merch. Wizards people, let me help you. Hire me. I will blow your up. There are so many nerds that would love basketball if you just gave them like an RPG way into it.
Yeah, well, I think in general, it's been cool, though, watching all these like major sports teams hiring young people to run their social media.
Yeah.
And it's like really funny to see. Like I noticed it with the Packers I'm just a huge Packers fan because, living in Wisconsin. But they definitely just hired some young girls to like run their social media. And now all of a sudden they're like stopping Jordan Love as he's walking into the game going, what's your favorite dog breed? And he's just like, ugh. And it's so funny. Like,
also, I think I said Moses Moody. I meant Moses Malone. But yeah, I love those where they're like, or like when they ask the players what's the thing more about than anyone on the team, and then they're like cars or whatever. Like it's great to see a little more of their personality. It's great. It humanizes them.
Yeah, well, because those people don't really like do much like public facing stuff.
Yeah.
They just like have their jersey on. And even interviews, like they are the hardest people to get a hold of. Is professional athletes.
I bet.
Because they're attached to a team and their HR teams are just telling them like, there's enough evidence out here of you guys blowing it. Let's not talk about anything unscripted. Just don't do it. Just
Whereas
don't.
the musician, who are they represent? Just themselves mostly.
Well, yeah, exactly. Okay, so if you could have anyone be a feature for a remix of I Have Sex, who'd you pick?
Oh man, Smino comes to mind. I love him. JID maybe. Oh, I bought a feature from Bruiser Wolf. He's from Detroit. He's on Danny Brown's label, and he's elite with the like punchlines, dirty type punchlines. That song's gonna be really sick. But yeah, oh man, there's so many. I mean, Lil Dicky, obviously.
Have you reached out to him?
I've had my friends are always sending him my music like, dude, you got it. And I'm like, now that I'm in the position of getting DMs from people like that, I'm like, he's not reading those, man. Because I'm not, and I'm at a way lower level.
Sure. And he hasn't put out music in kind of forever. So let's talk about the Rich Baby one.
Yeah.
What kind of filter did you use for that? That's not some kid. That's you, isn't it?
Yeah, that's Snapchat. They have like a baby filter. I just use one of Snapchat's built-in filters.
For the whole music video?
Mm-hmm.
I'm a rich baby. Baby, I'm rich.
Yep. And I remember I was dating a girl at the time. We're no longer together, but she was like, "Man, I don't like this one. It's really uncanny that you're like a baby and you're." And you can kind of see the mustache coming through. It's pretty disturbing.
It's a little creepy looking. I'm not gonna lie. I saw it for the first time because I like was deep diving. I'm like, I'm gonna watch everything on his YouTube channel within reason. But that music video, and I was like, how do you do that? That's like creepy. At first, I'm like, you must have hired a kid, and then I was like, no, that's definitely Scooch.
Straight Snapchat filter.
So let's talk about the first moment you realized, oh, I can make a living now. How long was it after you blew up that you were making enough money that you were like, maybe this is going to be feasible?
Yeah. So the first show that felt really different was Shuba's in Chicago, July of last year. And it sold out like 200 people. And like from the very beginning, the first song, like people like yelling the words.
Were you headlining?
Yes. I was like,
wow.
I was like, whoa, this feels different. Like I had the most I'd ever had a show before that was 100 people. And that's when I invited like all my coworkers and friends and stuff. For like an album release, but this one was like, whoa, okay, they know the words. They're like, and they were having me sign stuff, and like it just felt really different. I was like, if this exists in other cities, we might be getting there. And then I did a week tour in September, and that was the first time I like it's got recognized walking around, which is a weird feeling, especially because like my level of fame, like I'm famous within a 1 block radius of a venue I'm playing that night.
Little bubble. Yeah.
And I walked into a grilled cheese shop like a block from the Orlando venue, and I'm looking at the menu, and there's only one guy in there, and he goes, "I'm trying not to freak out right now. I'm literally in the room with Scoochie Boochie," and I was like, "Oh, hello, hi." I was so awkward. I don't know how to like handle that. Yes, that's weird. And so then that one was like, wow, okay, I made money from that. I think if we can do this a lot, this can happen. And then like once I did the 2-week tour in December, and it's more of that in more cities, I'm like, yeah, this seems like we can do this. At least as much as I was making as a tour guide, which isn't saying much, but I'm like,
you're talking December 3 months ago, December.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, it was this recent.
Yeah, I was still giving architecture tours in October. It was my last one.
Wow. What was the first time that you had someone recognize you on the tour?
Yeah.
Was it weird? Did they make it weird?
Yeah, there would be, yes. A lot of times they'd be kind of discreet as there's like a break where I'll walk by and they're like, "I'm so sorry. Are you Scoochie Boochie?" I'm like, "Yeah, man." And that I felt like was the beginning of the end. It was like, once I'm being recognized at my job, I think the thing I'm recognized from is probably my job now, you know?
Sure.
But I was already, for years when I've been doing it, before I blew up, I would just I'd hand out these little cards and it would have things they could, QR codes so they could Venmo me. But on the other side, it was just my Scoochie stuff. So that's my favorite. I still get comments from people like, "I can't believe I found this guy from an architecture tour."
And your boss didn't care that you're handing out, like, saying these are inappropriate songs, but, you know.
Yeah, no, I think it would have taken a customer to complain to them, and most of them just ignored it, so I never got back to them. But if people did find it, then they tended to like it, so.
Yeah, dude, you got to do what guerrilla marketing you can.
Exactly.
For anybody wondering, we are at the Turf Club in Minnesota right now because you're on your biggest tour of your life. So if you hear a bunch of background music, it's because people are jamming upstairs.
Yeah.
We're recording in between your VIP, which sounded pretty sick, and your actual show, which starts in what, an hour?
Yeah, about that time, yeah.
Cool. So I got to take all of your time. So what's been your favorite memory from this tour so far?
That's a good question.
Thank you.
There's one I'll tell you off mic, but it's just, yeah, I mean, it's just a combined montage of all the moments of being like, holy shit, they know the words. Like, it's just so crazy. Like, I think LA is the only stop on this tour where we've ever done a show before, and it was just one, last summer. And just to go all of these new places, and they're like wearing costumes. There's almost always somebody dressed as Waldo, which is funny because normally they're right in the front, in the middle. And I'm like, you gotta hide, man. The whole point is But then like the other night, I didn't see a Waldo in the crowd, so I made a joke. I was like, usually there's a Waldo, but whoever's doing it tonight's doing a great job. I cannot find you. And then in the back, all their friends go, "He's right here. There's a guy."
Oh God.
There's a Waldo, or like there's a guy dressed as Jesus because I have a song called "Jesus on the Beach," and I actually just asked him. I don't usually do crowd work, but I was like, "How'd you get to the show?" And he's like, "I took a trolley." And I'm like, "That's such a funny image. Just Jesus on the." I was like, no matter how you got to the show, it's a funny image, City bike, bus, lift, no matter what. Jesus behind the wheel. Jesus take the wheel. I was like, it's just people that are into it like that. It's just so crazy, man. It's because it's like you just go from being kind of embarrassed to explain it to people. Just like for like the whole time, because like the only thing more cringe than a white rapper is a comedy musician, and I'm both. You know what I mean?
Especially one that's failing.
Yeah,
right?
Especially when it's not working. It's like, oh man, and just like, yeah, I do this. It's kind of to just now like, yeah, just having people be like, no, we like this. This is cool. It's like, oh, thank God, man.
Have you had any other like bigger performers ask you to go on tour with them or anything yet?
I don't know if I can announce this one, but there's actually there's a large
we can
bus
bleep
tour.
it out.
Okay, yeah. There's has the same booking agent as me, and they have a side project called it's like their rap thing. The guys who do, which is a really big channel. Okay. And they're doing a tour for that in the fall. And I'll be the opener for like 2 weeks of that, and that's like some big venues. That's some like 2,000 to 5,000 capacity places. So that's going to be nuts, and also so much easier for me because not only do I only have to rap 30 minutes, 7 hour, but also like it's like a professional tour where all the logistics are taken care of. Yeah. Whereas this tour, it's me and one of my best buds selling merch and just driving around in my car. So like every decision is a little bit mine. So like that is just exhausting. Whereas this, I just show up and I'm just part of a larger operation. It's going to be sick.
Yeah. Well, and you like already know how to perform in front of people who don't know you because you did that a lot before with other people's comedy shows and stuff. So it's not going to be that different in that regard.
I love an away game. I love...
I've never heard it called that.
Even when it's a home game like tonight where they're there to see me and I'm headlining, I like specifically being like, who's listened to me before? People cheer. And then I go, it makes noise if someone brought you to this. And then just figuring out who the plus ones are. Yeah. And that's who I'm rapping at. Because I already have everybody else. I'm trying to get these new people, and that's my favorite. Afterwards, like, hey, I came here not knowing anything, and now I'm a fan. Yeah,
What's your favorite thing you've made so far?
Oh,
Not
man.
necessarily what performed best.
Yeah. My best line ever is from my song "I Bought a Submarine," where I'm talking about how I have a bidet that shoots Ciroc, and that people get mad, and then I said the enema of my enemy is my friend.
The enema of my enemy is my friend. My friend.
And when I wrote that, I was like, ooh, nice. just to gas myself up. I really like that line. But I think the one I get the least tired of that I do over and over is Prospector, because that beat is so hard. Shout out to Groovebox. He's like my main producer. He made that beat. And I like doing and shout out to Sean Anonymous, who's starting a set right now. The bass. But yeah, that one is just, that's been a fun way to write recently. Waldo's kind of the same way, where it's you sort of a silly-ish character, but then they take themselves really seriously. And it's kind of a cloak for me to just sort of seriously rap for a minute. And put myself in their shoes. That's been a fun way to write. Like, I started off, like I said, doing kind of like typical rap trope with hyperbole on it. And now I've been enjoying like songs from the perspective of a blank.
Yeah.
Baby, Waldo, Prospector. It's like, then you're never going to run out of things to write about, because you can just pretend you're this and this and this.
Yeah, because then you're not really Scoochie Boochie in those.
Yeah.
Right? You're just totally different character.
If I had to name my genre, I'd call it fantasy rap. Because not only because there's literally like my last album is like a medieval like D&D type, but also just because it's like, rappers always have their narrative, like Eminem's from 8 Mile and Jay-Z was a drug dealer or whatever. And like my actual story is like went to liberal arts college. Like, it's not that inspiring, but it's what I do know in terms of writing what you know is like sci-fi and fantasy and weird characters and stuff. So it's almost easier for me to write that way.
So part of your character being Scoochie Boochie is that all the ladies love you, very obviously.
Yes.
Which of your costumes or of your videos do the ladies love the most? Which one's the sexiest?
I'll leave that to them, but it was, that was sort of a lot of what the bit was, because especially like in improv or stand-up, my character was always very much like kind of a wimp, like dork. Like, those are the type of characters I like playing. So the idea of pretending I was the most confident ladies man ever was really funny. And like, it's a funny idea. Like, I feel like the idea of confidence and pride in general I find funny. Like, just to be like I'm a god because you like wrote a rhymed verse, which is in my mind a pretty whimsical activity. So like, it doesn't allow me to take myself too seriously or whatever. So that was always the thing. Like, I was writing a lot of very speculative things about how like perhaps I am a ladies' man. Wouldn't that be funny?
Yeah, dude. Well, I think that's part of what works so well is you had the mustache and the whole look where you're just outside as if you're a birder.
Yeah.
And you're like, I'm slamming chicks. And it's like, I don't know if this is the guy who's like really crushing it. So what is Scoochie Boochie's best pickup line?
Hi. That's what I go to ad libs, so I just hit him with that.
Dude, I'm not going to lie. That's the song that I listen to the most.
The hi.
Yeah.
Oh, Scoochie Boochie on the premises.
It's
thanks.
been on my running playlist. As weird as that is,
appreciate
I feel
that.
like it's just the right tempo for my jog.
Oh, yeah.
So I've been quoting it way too much. I think my girlfriend's getting really sick of listening to me say that.
Let's go.
What's your most embarrassing moment on stage so far?
When I was just I won't put any specific venues on blast, but 5 out of the 17 shows we've done, when I get to the mic, it's been off.
Oh, no.
And it's like, I don't want to in soundcheck be like, hey, and make sure the mic's turned on, because that's kind of like a dick thing to say, but I guess I do need to say it, because I get up there, I'm like, what the f is up, guys? Like, hello. It's like, this is literally, we're not a band. You don't have to mic a drum set. It's literally a mic and a laptop, and fully half of those are not on, and I'm just like, guys, you're killing me. But I recover from that okay, and it goes fine, but it's like, holy guys, you had one job.
That's funny. Yeah, plus if you want to come out with some serious energy, it kind of like interrupts the whole flow.
Exactly.
So what's something that you've learned that's helped you be a better performer on this tour?
That's a great question. I feel like that's the main thing I've learned is like, I already had sort of the skill of the rapping the stuff, but the sort of the James Brown of it all, the performer of stuff, is like trying to figure out a nice balance of like meeting them at their energy level, but then taking them to the one that I want them to be at. Because in the past, I've felt regret when I like, if a crowd's not that hype and then I become less hype and I come down to their level, and then afterwards I'm like, no, I should have brought them up to mine, and just finding the tricks of like, if you want them to yell the end of a line, you can do stuff with your voice for like, and so they know like, oh, I think we're about to get one of these, and like tell them to get one, because that feels great when you nail one of those and they know when to say it or whatever. Feels amazing. Yeah, just sort of the stuff of like getting the interplay, and also like
I feel like there's sort of a tier list of like crowd interactivity, and sometimes people try to go to like the top one, and it's like, no, you're not gonna get them to say stuff. Get them to just like make some noise. That's the base level, and then it's like, I feel like maybe like putting your hands in the air at any point is like one level up from that. Getting to clap in rhythm is another level, or like, and then getting them to repeat a refrain is like a little harder than that. So trying to like almost sort of ramp that up. It's like, all right, here's what I need at first, but then some crowds you come out and they're like, we're ready for any of it. You're like, thank you guys, because I'm exhausted and I actually need you guys to fill these words in because I'm pooped, you know?
Yeah, well, I mean, that's part of the benefit of the kind of rap that you make. You know, I interviewed R.A. the Rugged Man the other day, one of my favorite rappers ever.
Hell yeah.
But like his verses would be hard to say.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like unless you really practice them. So you can't really get the crowd to jump in and say all the lines.
Yeah.
Yours are like set up punchline, where it's like pretty easy to remember them.
It's very intentional because like my Space album, I wrote and recorded very much in quarantine. So like I was in my parents' basement. So imagine your 27-year-old son's in the basement just like yelling about how he farts when he and stuff. But then when I came out and the pandemic ended, I could do them live. I was like, oh, I didn't leave any breaths for them to process this or to laugh or to participate. It's just me in my head going like, rrr. And I think a lot of rappers at the beginning are like, I'm going to get a high score. I'm going to use the most words, the most complicated words, and everyone will be dazzled by my brilliance. And then you watch them do it live and everyone's like, yeah, we didn't understand any of that, dude, because you went and so like, I know I can do that. And if I want to go high score mode, I can, but I'd rather them have a good time because then I might have a better time. And so that's really the whole process has been me trying to use fewer words, be more efficient on some Kevin Durant and just go 17 for 24 instead of going, 20 for 40, just like don't throw a huge wave of at them, just give them just enough that they can kind of rock with it.
Yeah, dude. No, like I mentioned before, like my favorite music artist ever is Sunreal, and he did a song with Prof not super long ago. And Prof is like, he's really blown up more recently in the last few years. He's crushing it. But one of the things he does is like his hooks are very repetitive.
Yeah.
And it's definitely on purpose because and I saw him perform live because we got free tickets because I interviewed his DJ and shout out Willy Wonka. But anyways, we went and it's like, oh, this makes sense. Because sometimes I've heard his music and I'm like, man, that's kind of like a repetitive hook. And then you see it at a show.
Yeah.
It's like, well, because everyone knows it now, they just go crazy and it really works. And he did a song with Sunreal, and Sunreal was talking about how he kind of worked with Prof on the hook and it was going to be more. And Prof convinced him to like mellow it out.
Yeah.
And I think that does work really well. So couple questions I wanted to ask mostly just for social media. Who do you think have the 3 best mustaches that aren't yours?
That's funny. Ron Swanson from Parks and Rec. Got to be up there. Burt Reynolds is sort of the original. You got to give him. When people say mustache, that's usually the next name out of their mouth. So I got to give him some respect. I'd say underrated Richard Pryor. I think he had a pretty nice one. His long stash.
Yeah, it was thick. That guy, yep. Yeah, he definitely crushed it. Did you see Ron Swanson in The Last of Us?
Oh no,
dude, so interesting. And I'll keep this story really brief, but he plays a character who, like, yes, he knows how to like build stuff, right? It's a zombie apocalypse or whatever, but his character is gay and he doesn't like really know it. And like it follows this like little story arc where he like meets this dude and they fall in love and the whole like story arc of whatever. It was so interesting to see him play that character.
Yeah.
And it was like, had me tearing up. I was like, so this dude's actually a great actor.
Nick Offerman is a great actor.
Yeah, not just Nick Offerman. Sorry, not just Ron Swanson. Like not just that character. Although he plays that type of character a lot, that dude's got way more range than people realize. Okay. Yeah. Another question about the Bible: what are the 3 funniest rules that most people don't know about? I know you're not supposed to mix fabrics. But.
I thought there's a story of a guy named Onan who spilled his seed and got struck dead. Basically, he like off in the dirt and God killed him instantly. And it's like, imagine being 2,000 years from now and people know your name for that. You'd be like, man, come on. Because like, I mean, so many of those Old Testament laws are just about like, hey, we need the most guys possible because we have to go do medieval battles. Not medieval, but you know what I mean? Like sword battles. It's a numbers game. You just need thousands of guys. So like, don't you waste any. We need the most guys. And now we're like, when people still try to apply that stuff, it's like, dude, we have plenty of guys. We are overpopulated. Like, you guys can chill with that. So I'd say any sort of like have maximum babies law. It's like, we could just chill with that. The dietary restrictions chapters are really funny when it's just like, yes, fish, no, shellfish, like going down all that. It's like, that was probably just some food safety shit. People were just eating pigs, biblical pigs, and being like, oh, fuck. They're just having like biblical and they're like, we gotta change this shit. And it's like, now we could probably process them better, so it's probably fine. It's just like, I don't know, update your firmware, guys.
What's your funniest weed horror story? Something really stupid you did when you were high.
Yeah, my move is always to just splash water on my face. I remember one time I hadn't smoked for a while because I was with my parents during quarantine, and then I went back and hung out with a buddy, and he pulled out a blunt, and I was like, for sure, man, great. My tolerance was not there, and as soon as I got back inside, I was like, okay, I'm scary high, whoops. And so then I was crashing with him, so I had clothes there, and so I go in the bathroom, and I come back out with my shirt just wet, and then I grab a shirt, and then I go back in the bathroom, and I come back out, and I'm wearing a button up, and I just sit down next to him. He's like, did you change shirts? And I was like, I just got too hot, man, don't worry about it.
Oh God, you didn't admit to it.
Yeah,
that's pretty good. Yeah. Okay, what's been the coolest opportunity that has come up because of social media specifically?
Yeah, I mean, all these shows basically, dude. I mean, yeah, just being able to just like run ads like targeted towards people that have liked my stuff in the past and be like, I'm coming to your city, and then they do. It's like sick. I'm trying to think of something that makes like a better story than that.
Yeah, maybe somebody who like somebody else you looked up to, or another artist that saw you because of it and was like, hey, we should make this, or we should do.
Oh, yeah. I mean? Shout out Will I Am. DM me dope stuff, man. And I said thanks. I said thanks. You're a legend. Shout out Will I Am. That was like, it was so funny because I have two roommates, and I just walk out and be like, guess who just DM'd me? And I made them do. I made them like 20 questions. They're like, is it a musician? And they eventually was like, Will I Am? I was like, yeah.
Oh yeah, my God.
Shout out to him, man.
Dude, that's incredible.
I also, one of my comedy heroes is Pete Holmes, because he grew up evangelical and is also in the comedy stuff. And so I actually emailed him, tried to get him on Holy Smokes, and he responded. He was like, I can't, but like, good luck, keep going. And I was like, yeah, he's definitely a hero of mine.
Dude, well, you only do the Holy Smokes in person, right? So you have to get people to come to you.
I've done a couple on Zoom, but it's way better in person for sure.
Yeah, I don't think it's worth all the work that goes into editing if it wasn't in person.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about it, because the vast majority literally, I did get to town early to buy a chair because I've been having neck problems because I'm spending so much time editing these days because this is all I do now.
Yeah.
And so like one little evening I'm kicking it with you. The whole rest of the week, I'm just sitting on my computer, and that's like my weekly routine. You know what I mean? So, and I've told a lot of people this, that like, if it had to be virtual, as cool as you are, I just wouldn't do it. I'd be like, this isn't worth, as cool as that would be to talk to somebody virtually that I want to talk to for an hour, it's not worth a week worth of monotonous.
And as a listener, I'm like, well, I gotta listen to a fucking Zoom call, especially if one of the people has like Zoom quality audio. I'm like, I don't want to listen to it.
Yeah, well, and visually it looks pretty horrible too.
Oh my God, for real.
Who are the three funniest musicians that exist?
Andy Samberg, Jorma Taccone, and Akiva Schaffer, man. The Lonely Island. All three of those boys, bro. They're the GOATs. They're my absolute heroes. Yeah, they could do no wrong in my eyes. I'm obsessed with their podcast.
I didn't know they had a podcast.
Yeah, it's Lonely Island and Seth Meyers, and they're going through all their digital shorts one by one and talking about them. It's fantastic. Yeah. Lots of insights that I didn't realize I had absorbed just sort of through osmosis. They were talking about how, like, yeah, at some point we realized that, like, in our music videos, every moment where someone's rapping is in regular speed and everything else is in slow-mo. And I'm like, oh, I fully do that. I didn't realize I had just absorbed that as, like, a rule of editing from them. But yeah, dude, and like even beyond the SNL stuff, people like don't realize like that they're both of their HBO like sports mockumentaries. They did a Tour de France one and a tennis one. Hilarious. Popstar Never Stop Never Stopping. Their like Justin Bieber like Popstar parody thing is hilarious. Hot Rod is on my Mount Rushmore comedies. They're the goats.
Who else is on the Mount Rushmore comedies?
Oh man.
Or what else is on there?
All of them have been ruined by nerds quoting them, but I won't let them ruin that for me. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, God, it's so cringe to quote Monty Python, the Holy Grail, but that is maybe the best comedy ever. I think it's the best run of bits consecutively that's ever been put together. Yeah, I go Holy Grail, Napoleon Dynamite, Hot Rod, Anchorman.
Dude, yes, Anchorman absolutely belongs on there. Those might be the four
goats, I think.
I finally watched Anchorman 2, super disappointed, but Anchorman 1, that cast, what the hell, dude? That was, like, it was amazing.
It's loaded.
Yeah, that cast was incredible. Okay, I got one more big question for you, and you may need to take a minute to think about a really good story.
Okay.
So when you do something that you're passionate about for a living, you get to have really unique experiences, such as me just discovering people online where I'm like, that dude's funny, I want to hang out with him, I'll just shoot him a DM, and now I get to kick it with you.
Yeah.
This is like stuff that I do all the time. It's tight. What is one story of an experience you got to have that you're really grateful for, but it only came up because you pursued your passion for music?
Yeah, I think I just always remember that first Shuba show in Chicago. Just
like, because to get to the stage, you just walk out onto the sidewalk. So I'm just like fully in my sailor costume, and like an old guy walked by and was like, "What are you doing?" And I was like, "It's hard to explain." And then they were like, "Scoochie Boochie," and then I went in there, and it was the first time it was like this really like hot crowd that was like really into it and like knew the words and stuff. And I was like, it would take so long to explain to that guy what I just, and I really like, I think I said it in the show. I was like, I'm just remembering a time when I did this song, "I Have Sex," my most popular song. It's my tub thumping, you know, I'll be playing it till I die. But like, I used to do this shit like there was a VR bar in Chicago that I think is closed now. And there was like a variety show back there. And the audience was literally just the other comedians and one very old man. Like, I legit felt bad. I was like, why are you spending some of your last moments watching us bomb? Like, you could be somewhere better probably. And I have sex, you know, just in this like weird, even like the ceiling's too high, so that all the energy goes away, like that kind of, it was like daytime, just all around bad. And I have sex. And then afterwards he was like, that was weird, but I liked it. And I was like, my man, thank you, Father Time.
Yeah, dude. Well, thank you so much for doing this. I know we got to wrap this up. So
My
what's
pleasure.
the best way that people can find you, follow you, if they wanted to get a message to you? Not saying you have to respond, but one where you would see it. Where's the best place to
Yeah, I
interact?
occasionally check my Instagram DMs, and on there you can hit the email button, and that goes to my like official email, which is nice. But yeah, Instagram's the main place, but I also have a mailing list. My website, ScoochieBoochie.com. You also get a discount on merch if you sign up for that, and I really appreciate that. YouTube is a great place to subscribe. I'm on all your different streaming, listening places. And yeah, come see a show.
Thank you for joining us for this episode of The Passion Pod. We hope you enjoyed it as much as we did. We'll see you soon.